The government's dodged a campaign bullet after the Reserve Bank decided to leave rates on hold. With inflation under control and the economy ticking along, the bank has opted to wait and see. If today's numbers are any guide that the RBA won't be in a hurry to lift rates, the latest soft retail sales data had retailers calling for rates to remain on hold until next year. Here's Philip Lasker.
Former Prime Minister John Howard discovered elections don't prevent interest rates from going up, but economic fundamentals do.
Right now, the Australian economy is doing okay, not great. It's basically good in parts. The mining sector is booming, but the household sector is struggling.
The Reserve Bank noted households were displaying a degree of caution, the continued high commodity prices for Australia's exports, and a gradually firming jobs market. It also noted the uneven nature of the global recovery and China's desirable slowdown, concluding that with growth likely to be close to trend, inflation close to target, and the global outlook remaining somewhat uncertain, this setting of monetary policy is appropriate.
Last week's excellent CPI report showing that inflation is back in the band and likely to stay there for some time just leaves it more likely that Reserve Bank will do nothing before the next CPI report at the end of October and probably will do nothing into 2011.
Retailers who've had to offer deep discounts to get customers to spend are worried the Reserve Bank won't sit on its hands for long enough.
What now becomes a concern, though, is that we may see a clutch of interest rate increases closer to Christmas. And the last thing we need is a repetition of Christmas 2009, where we're in the midst of a string of 6 successive interest rate increases.
Retail sales numbers released today showed growth in June was a soft 0.2% and less than 2% for the year. Building approvals were also weaker than expected for the month, but still well up on a year ago. The brighter news came from offshore, with Federal Reserve Chairman Ben Bernanke delivering some of his heavily qualified optimism.
Today, the financial crisis looks mostly to be behind us, and the economy has stabilized and it's expanding again. But we have a considerable way to go before we achieve a full recovery in our economy, and many Americans are still grappling with unemployment, with foreclosure, and with lost savings.
At least the latest numbers showed America's manufacturing sector grew in July for the 12th month in a row.
We're seeing improvement. It's not the pace at which we saw the first quarter, but it's certainly better than what we were pricing in just a month ago.
And in Europe, some of the same banks which were on their knees a year ago are starting to report strong profit results. BNP Paribas reported a 30% increase in net profit, and HSBC's earnings doubled to more than $12 billion.